All right, man. It is a Friday afternoon. Hopefully, I'm live and everything's working. Yeah, and if you guys hear noise in the background, that is my fan. It's a little hot today, so I got the fan running. But yeah, let's have a toxic podcast today, if you will, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope your week has been going well. I hope your Friday's been excellent. And let's talk some video games. And matter of fact, let's talk some news that you're not probably not going to hear from anywhere else. A couple of narrative killers, if you will, I'm gonna call it. Actually, there are a number of things I do want to talk about today, but it's just that I saw this article earlier this morning, and I had to talk about it. I had to talk about it because look, you I think that stuff like this, I hope it proves to the Xbox gamers, Xbox community, um, just how full of shit the gaming media is, how full of shit the YouTubers are. We're the videos that are going to point out the stuff that was said in these articles. These articles aren't some BS lie here. In the first one, Sony cast doubt on PlayStation momentum with KG Outlook. Pretty much, they talk about how their consoles are selling, but the moneymaker to gaming, the software isn't. And as we see here, it says right here, sales of the hardware are increasing on par with Sony's plans, but the momentum of software, the lucrative part of the gaming business, and yes, that's always been a fact. Remember, but even they've said it even back in that Xbox documentary from a couple years ago, right? Hey, what's up, Vodka? The lucrative part of game business remains weak. This shows that PlayStation users are not buying new games, says uh, Hideki Yasuda. Oh, snap! What's up? Hey, what's up, I Zero? Yeah, I saw since everybody's now jumping in again, reiterating the thesis. They admit it. Sales, Sony PlayStation game owners aren't buying new games. The part of the gaming business that's lucrative, and I think that many of us have known for a long time, right? Had known for a long time that the money making part. Hopefully, this fan is not distracting. The money making part to gaming is the software, and that's why stuff like engagement has been pushed as more important than console hardware sales. Because Phil Spencer said years ago, and I'm paraphrasing here, about how it's better to in layman's terms, it's better to sell X amount of Xboxes and people are using them than to sell Xbox and it's just sitting there collecting dust. And again, when analysts are saying PlayStation users are not buying new games, this does kind of yeah. So this does make a little sense, doesn't it? Because let's add to this. Let's add to this, right? Sony are not are Sony are pretty transparent company. I've noticed if they hit a huge sales mark, they'll shout it off the rooftops. They'll tell you in a heartbeat when The Last of Us 2 sells 10 million, right? Or God of War Ragnarok does 11 million and stuff like that. They'll tell you, hey, what's up, Radiance? They'll tell you, but but you kind of gotta, if you will, use some extracurricular thinking sometimes. And I've always said, yes, it's good to sell the 10 million copies, but it's clear that those exclusives were only selling to a smaller percentage of games. And again, as we continue in the article, it says monthly active PlayStation users went down to 108 million from 112 million. I prefer when numbers use the higher number than the lower. Kind of my brain kind of process it differently. But yeah, so they lose about 4 million in their PSN users and all this stuff. So again, So when Sony tells you that they sold XYZ, that they sold X amount of consoles, um, we know that's not the end all be all to success because, well, okay, you sell. As someone once put it, scalpers aren't playing games. They aren't buying games, right? And he was saying that tongue in cheek. But yeah, a lot of these PlayStation gamers aren't just buying games to that extreme level. As again, as they're saying here, the sales of the hardware is fine, but the PlayStation users just aren't buying games. And again, I reiterate, the money making aspect of gaming is the software. That's why the services are so important. That's why Microsoft has made it so important to try to get Activision and Bethesda and all that stuff, because we understand that the business of place of these consoles is not just, hey, you spent $500 on my hardware. What else are you doing with it? Right? What else are you doing with it? And it's clear, from this report. Uh, it's certainly not buying games like that. Uh-oh. Their monthly active users are decreasing. And here's the thing: when it comes to stuff like this, there's going to be ups and down periods, right? But the reason why I'm focusing on this is because we hear the negative Xbox news all the time. People still haven't let go the 30 frames per second for Redfall and all this other stuff. There are people right now who will sit there and tell you to your face that Xbox has no games, even though the last case of Benedict Fox just released yesterday. Mayfall's coming May 2nd. um, Ravenlock's coming May 4th, right? Starfield's coming September 6th. Forza Motorsport doesn't have a release date, but they said it's coming this year. So we know, and not only that, um, uh, listen, look at this. Next week, Xbox new games for May 1st through the 5th. So this is just for the first 5 days of May of next week, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 4. Oh no, Hogwarts isn't coming to Game Pass. 14 games that are coming to Xbox. Okay, yeah, okay. So 14 games that are coming to either Xbox Game Pass or both combination. Hogwarts Legacy, by the way, not going to Game Pass. This is just the Xbox One version that's releasing on May 5th. So you see all these games are coming to Xbox in the span of 5 days next week, right? And they're using. Hey, you a fool, Luis. Luis Jimenez said they're using their PS5s to watch Pornhub. Sorry, couldn't resist. Hey, I'm sure that there are some numbers somewhere that prove you right, Luis. I'm just not going to look it up. So, maybe I'll look it up on my spare time to see if that's factual. But yeah, man, it's so funny that that we kind of see things playing out the way. Wu Long has sold 1 million copies and 3 million players. Oh yeah, that's excellent. Remember, Wu Long was one of those games that was day one on Game Pass, by the way. And again, when people tell you Xbox has no games, Xbox had what, 8? I heard read 8 day one games released so far this year. Another game that had massive success thanks to Game Pass and Xbox, High on Life, 7.5 million unique players, according to Squanch Games, for the game that released back then, December of last year. And High on Life is an extremely fun game, first person comedy style game. And it's great, and this is why, and stuff like this is why the measurement of success has changed. It's not just how many boxes you sold. Okay, Sony, you could tell us you sold 30 million PlayStation 5s, or you want to sell 20, or you aim to sell 25 million units in this current year, right? You could say that, but what are they doing with them consoles? What are they doing? Because according to your own analysts, not buying games, not using your online networks. 4 million people dropped it, right? So the point is, I'm pointing this out here because I do want to kind of hammer in why the negativity towards Xbox just doesn't make sense to me, and why it shouldn't make sense to you, and why when you see the negativity in gaming out there, you should just question it. Just question it just a little, just question it. Just question it. Does it match up with reality? A lot of times it doesn't. A lot of times when they tell you things like, Xbox has no games, well, you could simply you could just look what's coming next week. We got another big exclusive like Redfall. Uh, Hi-Fi Rush back in January. The Last Case of Benedict Fox, Ravenlock, and and then with a year like this, another thing I do, with a year like this, you look at the gaming situation, specifically on Xbox, and what other conclusion can you come to unless you're constantly just hearing bitching, right? Unless you're just constantly hearing how bad gaming is. Now, I'm on the opposite end. I don't think gaming's in a terrible state, or none of that stuff. It's like gaming's like a lot of life. It's what you make of it in most cases. But yeah, let's see. Vodka here said Hogwarts was delayed, which saved God of War. Now the Xbox One and PS4 version drops days after Redfall. Yep, and it's not going to affect Redfall that much. One, because of the Game Pass factor. Yes, the Game Pass factor is important and stuff like this, because a lot of times people are going to play these games. People like me are buying the game. I'm sure that there's going to be millions of people who buy Redfall, even though it's on Game Pass. But not only that, since the game was already released, a lot of people who want to play it, Vodka, already played it. I don't know how many people are still primarily playing PS4s and Xbox Ones. There's probably a lot, but since the Hogwarts Legacy sold like 12 million copies back in February, I'd argue that a large percentage of people who played it have already played it in some shape or form. Maybe not for the Wii only owners. I don't know when the Wii version of that game comes out. So yeah. I get what you're saying, Vodka, but I don't think I don't think Hogwarts Legacy, the last gen version releasing 4 months after the initial release, is going to harm Redfall that much. Hell, there's a Zelda game coming this month, and I still think Redfall's going to. I guarantee that about within months we're going to see an article like this. Basically, Redfall had X millions of players thanks to Game Pass or something. Like we see with Hi-Fi Rush, like we saw with not Hi-Fi Rush. I'm going to get tongue tied with High on Life and Hi-Fi Rush a lot because of the damn high in their gaming titles. But yeah, so you're going to see a lot of Hi-Fi Rush 2 million players, Forza the 28 and all that stuff. Luis here said engagement. Oh, exactly. Our engagement numbers with games is much higher, i.e., Xbox gamers. Yeah, man. And don't let people tell you that that doesn't matter. All right, don't let people tell you that that doesn't matter, because even Sony themselves years ago said that engagement is the new standard. One of the new standard bearers of success. So don't ever let people say, try to spin it as, okay, you had X million player, how many people bought it? I'm pretty sure many had bought it. I know E-Rock for sure bought High on Life, and look, it was a huge success. Same, I pre-ordered Redfall. Yeah, I am extremely excited for Redfall. Arcane Studios don't make bad games, and I will die on a hill, and so I think Redfall is going to be a certified hit next week. The only negative is that it comes out. I kind of wish Xbox released Redfall on a Friday, like maybe. Well, today's the day that Star Wars released. Hell, you could have two multiple big games released on the same day. But hell, even if it was next Friday, I kind of think I'd prefer that, Shizno, because with that, you can play it during the weekend. It comes out May 2nd on a Tuesday, when I have a busy ass week work coming up. So that's the only negative, is that I'm probably not going to play much of it until around next Friday or Saturday. Trying to cover Redfall success. Yeah, I still think Redfall is going to be successful. Yeah, no doubt Redfall will have good numbers, Luis. Let's see. Geek Zaz Fat T. I cop games that are in Game Pass that I like. They might show up on Game Pass, but they don't stay on forever. Plus, the discounts are awesome. Yes, yes. Other than first party games, a lot of those games are on there for usually, and they're usually there for a nice like a good year. Some of them have been on there for years, right? Even though they're not owned by Xbox. So the length of the time that games are on Game Pass Geek, it does vary, but I'm with you there. I've bought plenty of games that was on Game Pass. Some that came and went, some that might still be there, some I owned before Game Pass was a thing. I'll put it this way: as great as Game Pass is, it hasn't stopped me from buying games. Hey, what's up, Sega Forever? Hey, Sega. I think you're doing a show tonight, so everybody check out the Insomniac podcast or the Wrecking Crew podcast, actually, on Xbox All In's channel later tonight. I unfortunately won't be there as I am tied up later tonight. Hey, Zinc, thank you for making it. Thank you for making it. If you want to join in, let me know, and I'll shoot you a link. I pre-ordered High on Life 2. Absolutely loved it. Yes, High on Life was comedy done right. And here's the thing. We kind of seen Shizno Elite that writing in games, even in games I like, hasn't actually been the best sometimes. Saints Row, fun game, terrible writing. Forspoken was notoriously terrible with the writing, right? And some of it could be that, like, I don't know, modern day cringe humor that's supposed to, in theory, sound like your average 20 somethings, but it just come off like Twitter speak. Those kind of games don't really work. High on Life, it is clearly made by the people who made Rick and Morty, a very funny cartoon, and they nailed it. The humor was the game is just so genuinely funny that it's almost it's one of its best aspects. Let's see. Louise here says, that doesn't matter if you are engaged with a game, more greater chances someone will be DLC, microtransactions. Yes. You remember when Halo released, like the Halo Infinite released some cat airs, and people were spending, I kid you not, what was it, $5 or $10 on the cat airs in Halo? There were thousands, maybe even millions that were dropping money on. So yeah, I know many people aren't fans of microtransactions, but there are reasons why they exist, because there's large vocal gamers that gladly spend money on it, So it's kind of one of the things that became a necessary evil, if you will, in gamers. Ponies play sales and numbers now. Well, that doesn't make sense, because while their hardware is doing well sales wise, as this analyst points out, where is it? That's right. PlayStation users are not buying new games. Sega, Xbox All In. Explain that one to me. Explain to me, right? Explain to me why the consoles are selling, but they're just not buying games like that. Now, yeah, you could try to blame it on say scalpers, but that was 3 years ago. The PlayStation 5s are easy to get now, and yet so you're going to see this reflection for a while. Get a Linux, can't join at the moment yet. Listen, hey, no problem, Zinc, no problem. Listen, I'm just doing this little solo thing real quick. So I did want to talk about this because the stuff that was coming out. You see, the reason I'm talking about this because I'm pretty sure nobody will talk about it, right? We'll talk about how the monthly active users went down. How even though the hardware sales are increasing, but the video game sales, the part that people tell me PlayStation have bangers of that people will gladly pay $70 for. Remember last year, The Last of Us, a $70 fucking remake. They told you Xbox gamers that, hey, people would gladly pay $70 to pay The Last of Us remake again. Have they even released sales numbers of that remake? Just a remake, and I guarantee, knowing Sony, they probably combined the remake sales with the original sales. So if the original one sold 20 million, they'll just say, hey, guess what sold 22 million now? The Last of Us 1. Funny about your view on state of gaming. I watched Star Wars Theory stream, and his chat spoke of gaming not being innovative and same old Sony. Yeah, I've noticed that, that's a very popular talking talking spot. Hey, hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second. Oh. All right, sorry about that, everyone. But yeah, Vodka, it's a very popular talking point. All right, sorry about that, everyone. A bit of technical issues there, but let's get this back on track. Let's get this back on track. All right, so yeah, Vodka. It's a popular statement, like I was saying, to hear about how terrible gaming is these days, and I can't help people who are just fully in on that mode of thinking. If gaming is that bad, I think just sell your consoles or your PC, whatever the hell, and get out of gaming because we don't have the power to change things, right? At most, our trends, our spending habits, is probably our best fight against whatever people say they don't like in gaming. And the problem with that is a generation of gamers are used to microtransactions, stuff like that, so it doesn't bother them, and it clearly makes these companies millions and billions of dollars. So I don't know, I don't know what to tell you about how terrible gaming is right now. For those who feel that way, I don't feel that way for the record. Let's see, that's right, Xbox After Dark, going to miss you. Yeah, man. Unfortunately, I can't make it tonight. I would love another High on Life or maybe big expansion with some more bounties. Yeah. Listen, this game was it was the biggest third party launch in Game Pass history. So the fact that it's been that successful, Shinzo, I think I would be stunned if we don't hear about High on Life 2 in the future. My daughter purchased the Halo Infinite Nail. There you go. There you go. And stuff like that is good for marketing and all that stuff. But yeah, a lot of these IPs and games, and especially the popular games, have so many different items for sale out there. You could get wrapped in Halo book bags and Halo books and Halo trading cards and Halo nail polish in the case of Zink's daughter. I bought cat ears and Iron Man coating. Oh yeah, for Halo. Yeah. The cat ears and the Iron Man coating. Yeah, exactly. People gladly spend money for things like that with these games. Ponies don't buy games. Well, they don't buy them in large. They don't buy them large enough and large enough qualities, or else analysts wouldn't be saying. Although the sales of hardware is increasing with the PlayStation 5, the lucrative part of the gaming business remains weak. And look at the words remains weak. What does that tell you? As he said, people aren't buying the games. And here's another thing is, as gaming, people want. We see that with the recent Star Wars game, I saw that the PC version, I guess, is not running very well. Game development is so expensive, so time consuming, right? So time consuming. And then with the bells and whistles, your 4Ks, your whatever DLSS, your ray tracing, and whatever the case is, so much goes. It's so much more technical now, and it's getting more technical. That even if like even if a game sells 1 million copies, sometimes with these $100 million games, AAA games, it's just not enough. And yes, software is where the money is made, not hardware. Yep. And remember, part one, it was part one of the Xbox documentary. That's what I believe Seamus Blackley was saying. And it's something that I think many of us hardcore gamers knew, but now I think since the I like using that documentary as an example, because it's the most accessible and easiest and fastest way to find that information, basically. Yeah, all the PlayStation 5 owners are casual that play 1 or 2 games a year. Very few are hardcore that play all the newest games. Unfortunately, the few is so loud. Yeah, and stuff like that is one of the great things about Game Pass, because that's kind of the case with every console. Let's be real. Most people are not like us. They're not hip, if they're not in tune with the latest gaming news. They many of them, y'all might be surprised to hear this. A lot of gamers don't know what the fuck 60 FPS frames per seconds are. Barely care. At most, will see it on the box when they buy it and think, "Huh, that's neat." When all they just want to do is play the latest Halo game. That's the reality of the situation with most gamers by large. I bet I could hit my brother right now and ask him, "Hey man, what frames per second you playing on your PlayStation?" He'd be like, "Huh?" And he games on an LG OLED, and he doesn't care about the bells and whistles to that extent. Hey, what's up, Shane Z, Shane G, uh, Bobby Dazzle? If I didn't say what's up to you, how are you, my brother? My brother. Let's see, mom and dad only pay 2 games a year. Yeah, for the kids. Excellent point, Bobby. Excellent point, because that was our lives as kids too. You got video games on your birthday or Christmas most years, and you had to make do with that. And if you're really good, you went to Blockbuster and rented those games for a fucking week. that was life back in the day. Yeah, that was life. All right. The Blockbuster stores, the Hollywood Video, and all the other game rental stores, they used to come in clutch, because sometimes that was the best you could do, because you only got games to actually own on your birthday or Christmas 2 times a year. I'm excited for Redfall. Yeah, so am I, Shane G. I am. Oh man, and I'm going to talk about my excitement about Redfall in a bit too, because we can't the game's too close to release not to hype it up. Gaming is better than ever to me. It's what you make it. Yeah, and one great thing about gaming, especially with Xbox and features like backwards compatibility, is the ability to play older games. Emulation. You could play older games that you probably will never be able to buy, maybe because since they're out of print, they're almost hard to get. But I'm all for emulation for super old games that will never be re-released again, because that's oftentimes the only way you could get it, right? So that's cool to me. Backwards compatibility, absolutely love it. I think it's a feature that I wish has continued even further than what we got, and stuff like that. I think adds to it, because to me, excuse me. Let's say, like, I didn't play one of my favorite games ever is Alice Madness Returns. Excellent game. I didn't play it on the 360. I played it in 2020 during the pandemic when there was nothing else going on. Right? You remember that the worst of the pandemic? That's when I first played Alice Madness Returns and loved it, thanks to the backwards compatibility. And it's so that was it's an old game, but it's in the sense when you first play it, it's almost like it's new to you. Redfall will be awesome. That is an absolute fact. Shane G, the trailer. Oh, dude, that trailer yesterday. Oh, that was so damn good. That song is really catchy too. That song is kind of stuck in my head. Set your Xbox to New Zealand time to play the game early. Ah, the classic New Zealand trick. Yeah, the only reason why I don't do that is because I don't mind. I don't mind waiting until it goes live my time zone. Because since these games released during the weekdays, most of the time I'm working anyway. So by the time I get off work, the game is live, or I'm so damn tired, I'll just play it when the official release date the next day anyway. No one cares about having fun. All console guys want to be PC weirdos and digi. Yeah, man, digital foundry now. Yeah, Shane G, the digital. And here's the thing: nobody could tell the difference between 55 frames a second and 60 when you're playing in real time. You can't. 30 and 60, yeah, that's a huge difference, and you could feel it. 40 and 60, yeah, again, large chunks, yeah, you could feel that. When people be like, hey, but the PlayStation version's at 60, but the Xbox is at 59 at this specific, and it's always at that one specific screenshot they take to make it look bad. And it's like, dude, no, sorry, I'm not going to bitch and moan about 1 frame per second that I wouldn't even know was a thing if Digital Foundry didn't trick you guys into thinking a lot of these performances is the end all be all. Love microtransactions over loot boxes. Game Pass discounts make it even better. Halo, Black Desert, Naraka Blade Point, get my cash. Yeah, exactly. And not only that, like like the Star Ocean games, not Star Ocean, Fantasy Star. You get, I think you get like a new DLC monthly thanks to Game Pass Ultimate. Fuck the CMA, all about keeping Sony in power. Yeah, that was bullshit of them blocking, and it's still not the end all be all. Also, that's not the end of that either. Listen, the CMA is not some world powerful regulator. Okay, so let's cool our jets here for everybody thinking that's that Activision's going to give up on $70 billion because of the UK regulators. That bullshit ain't gonna fly. Halo Infinite is just gonna get better too. They're only about a year and a half into supporting it. It's going to be a huge game by the time they're done. Yep, and it's one of them games, Shinzo, that has like a year long, years and years of planned content. Digital Foundry, PlayStation Foundry. But yeah, Shinzo, so yeah, and thanks to stuff like Game Pass being free to play and all that, extremely accessible, extremely fun, and people who love Halo love the game. Wulong, but more on Xbox than PlayStation. The power of Game Pass. Now remember, Kenneth, we heard that what was it that they used to say? Oh, that's right. Game Pass cannibalizes sales. when Xbox, like Sarah Bond has said for years, at least 4 years now, Game Pass subscribers buy and play more games. This is why Xbox created Game Pass and never stressed the first party AAA titles. Yeah. Yep. Game Pass was a brilliant idea. They own, I believe, 60-70% of the subscriptions market for a reason. But every version of Black Desert Online just need a physical version. Oh, I didn't even know there was a physical version. I thought that was just one of them MMOs you could only get online. Changing. I don't get that. I went to console only because I got tired of the headache of PC. I'm sure it's easier now, but still more trouble than console. Yeah, my best friend's a PC gamer. I'll never be a PC gamer personally. I just like to get home, hit the Xbox button, kick back on the couch, and start playing games. Got kicked once from Jedi Survivor. No other problems. Don't think ray tracing is on Series S though. Hey, that's fine. That's fine. As the Series S wasn't made to have the bells and whistles. It wasn't the iPhone Pro, right, or whatever the fucking latest iPhone is, or the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus. Yeah, these phones got long ass neck. People bitch about the Xbox naming consoles. The phones, man, Jesus Christ. Jedi Survivor's working great for me too. Not a single problem. Okay. See, I think it was the PC version I was hearing was having issues. Hey, Earl Norris, thank you for joining. If this is your first time commenting, welcome. Just pre-install Redfall. That's awesome. My hype for Redfall's through the roof. I'm having fun in Dead Island 2 and Jedi and Benedict Fox, but Redfall is where it's at for you. Yeah, Redfall Shinzo is a 10 out of 10 excitement level. The excitement's off the chart. I think they're doing great global release. Star Wars did. I don't know the New Zealand trick will work. Oh, for Redfall, it probably work. I don't see why it wouldn't. If you go to their site, or I think they put on Twitter as well, they show the time that all these games are releasing on May 2nd. Some of them are releasing in the Western Hemisphere. A lot of them are releasing May 1st at around the 7-8 p.m. time. As long as I can get the game at a constant, hold on. As long as the game is constant, I'm good. Even 30 FPS. I like the smooth gameplay at 60, but I have no problems with 30. Yeah, same here. Same here, man. Right. The CMA is out of jurisdiction. Yeah. The way that they're going around trying to make it seem like they're more important than they are. They don't. That's not how regulators work. They don't work like that. Sony can go straight to HE. Man, you could say hell. You could say hell because I sure as hell know 100 they aren't buying new games because that's right, the lucrative part of the gaming business, the software remains weak. And the word remains weak is interesting because that tells me that it's been an issue even longer than maybe many have thought. If I try the game, I'm gonna buy it if I like it. I'm about to grind Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Yeah. I'm not. That's not always the case for me. If a game is on Game Pass, I'll usually buy it if I really, really love it, or if I'm extremely excited for it. Those are usually the two cases that a game's on Game Pass, Kenneth, and I'll buy it. People that played Black Desert really play that game. Unfortunately, I couldn't get into it. Yeah, I don't get into many MMO RPGs like that either. But hey, the beauty of Xbox, variety of games, play whatever you like. PS5 and PC has issues. I believe that's Six Layer, and I believe he's referencing Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And only some PC guys have issues. All PlayStation 5 guys see to have it. Yeah, now I haven't bought the game yet. I know it came out today. I haven't bought the game yet. From my understanding, if you're like me and a guy who will buy games physically at times, get the digital version because I believe the physical version is just more like a key. Because for some games, when you buy it, the content is on the actual disc, and then the disc just ports over the info to your console. Right, and in other cases, the disc is just kind of like a key, if you will, or something, and but everything's still downloaded from the servers or something. Yeah, excuse me, be a little brain dead in that dumbass explanation, but I hope I made some sense. The only difference between the series consoles is internal storage and native 4K. Oh, there you go. Yo, what's good? Benedict Fox is dope. Yes, it is. And definitely challenging, but I love it so far. Yeah, you know what, Garcia, and thank you for joining, Garcia. You know what, Garcia, the puzzles are kind of kicking my ass a bit. So yeah, I'm getting through it a little slower than I thought I would. I thought I would have beat Benedict Fox before Redfall. I don't know if that's going to be the case because one, I work long hours, so when I get on the gaming, it's sometimes I only got X amount of time outside of the weekends. But yeah, I'm trying to get as far as I can in Benedict Fox before May 2nd because everything's going on pause. Yep, Benedict Fox can be hard sometimes. Hey, but that's gaming for you. There's also difficulty because remember when you first started, you could choose, for example, to have pretty much the puzzles already I guess already solved. I didn't choose the options, so I'm not sure if it automatically solves it for you or if it just gives you super easy hints. But there is kind of a difficulty setting it in Benedict Fox to make it a little easier. Many games, the physical disc is just a key and it's really empty. Yeah. Halo Infinite did pull that as well, Six Layer. All right, Hebot, I'm gonna send you a link in a second. But yeah, so not only the funny thing about this is not only guys has PlayStation. We know that PlayStation users aren't buying games to the extent that they're going to tell you. Sony also. This was I like this one even more. Sony is reassured that Marvel Spider-Man 2 will release this fiscal year. Fiscal year, that's the important part. But there are no other AAA titles. Now, why is this hilarious? As I said, my brother, he bought a link. Give me a second. Why is this hilarious? Because last year, what was the one thing that you were told, Xbox gamers? Xbox had no first-party games. And this is why, see, I hope, oh my God, my hope, and just to be petty, is that when they say fiscal year, because as it says here, the long-awaited Sony fiscal report released today included both Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, and Spider-Man. I'm not sure what the difference is. The Japanese company has reassured that it will release within the fiscal year, which comes to the close on March 31st, 2024. If this game is delayed in the 2024, early 2024, and they have no other AAA titles like it says here, guys, I want you guys to talk all the shit. Because last year, when every Sony game was delayed, every 2021 Sony game was delayed into 2022, they gave Xbox fans hell for enjoying games that weren't first party exclusive, and they were specific about that too. So when Sony admits that this year all they got is Spider-Man, give them the same hell back. I'm not. Listen, where's Destin Legary to say, hey, Sony, where are your release dates? Where are your games? Where's your anything? Huh? Where? All you got is another Spider-Man? Here's another Spider-Man where I get to, what are you gonna do in Spider-Man? Fight Venom again? You could pick up dozens of Spider-Man games where you fought Venom. Swing through New York. Every Spider-Man game you swing through New York. Look, you get to switch between Miles Morales and Peter Parker. There's a game called Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions and Spider-Man Edge of Times where you play as different versions of Spider-Man. So what new is Spider-Man 2 gonna do? Excuse me, I had to take a sip of water there. What new is Spider-Man 2 gonna do, guys? That makes Sony has it as its only big AAA game of the year. And by the way, Sony keeps telling people that they're working on all these multiplayer games. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. And, you know, they keep saying, we got 10, 12 multiplayer games. Hell, they still haven't even released the Last of Us factions. So this was this one. Hey, what's up, Hebot?
Hey,
yeah,
isn't it great?
Isn't it, man?
Isn't it fucking fantastic? Isn't that great? Isn't it funny how Sony always say shit straight up, but everybody keeps quiet?
Yeah.
They're saying it once again like they did in 2015. We got no games with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's not even a first-party game.
Yes, that's right. It's only made by their first-party studio.
Right. It's a third party. It's made by a first-party studio, but it's not their property, right? And they're saying, we only have Spider-Man. And notice how they're saying it before E3. This is why they can't go to E3. Because they know they had nothing to show.
This is why they don't do shows. This is why they don't give you showcases.
Yeah. Well, you got the dummies and the clowns. They're not going because they're doing it smart. They're just gonna stay at home, save the money, just do a little live stream and this and that. No, bro. This is why they keep doing all those aggressive third-party deals, trying to take games away. That's why they want to have, all these games like Silent Hill 2 and the Final Fantasies and Project Eve. That's why they want them exclusive, because they have no first-party games.
Excellent. And let me add to that. First of all, let me address Six Layers comment. Can we have a whole city in Spider-Man? Nah, man, you can only get Manhattan. That's all they're going to give you. Is Manhattan. But and add to what you said. I'm not giving them free reign. Listen, everybody. Today is the toxic version of the Unlimited Truth. I'm a toxic motherfucker today. Because for all last year, when we were just trying to enjoy our games, just enjoy games like
Yes.
the Gunk, like High on Life, which was a massive success, like Scorn.
You saw that it was a success, right? They put it out today.
They said those games don't count, Hebot, because they're not first party AAA exclusives. Well, guess what?
Right.
You have one, Sony. You have one. I don't count. I'm not counting Forspoken. I'm not counting Final Fantasy. I'm not counting Silent Hill. Which, by the way, only Final Fantasy 16 has a release date in June. None of them other games they pay to be off Xbox has a release date.
Yeah.
So I ain't counting any of that shit because if y'all, because y'all, I'm gonna play the exact same dumbass game they did. so don't you dare come here and tell me, hey, he bought but Stellar Blade, nope, not first party. But Silent Hill, nope, not first party. But whatever other game they paid off Xbox.
The Project Eve one, I forgot what it's called now. It's called something else, right?
Yeah. No,
I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, I'm pulling the exact same
and then the beautiful thing is, the consoles for the PS5, the momentum is still there, but the game sales are weak, right?
Yep. That's what I was talking about before you got here.
Then I had to argue with my son, right? Because he goes, yeah, probably because they're still buying it on PS4. I was like, so why the hell would they buy a PS5 in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
You can't argue that they're buying games on PS4 because they're saying that the console sale momentum is still there. I mean, they're buying PS5s, but they're not buying games for it.
That's because they buy
Why would you buy a PS5 and then buy the game for a PS4?
Because most of them, you know what they did? They went straight to fucking Fortnite and Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
That's what they did. And Zink here. Oh, hold on. Let me get to Zink's comment, then I'll let you go. Zink said, right, where's Destin Legary, Ryan McCaffrey, Jez? Hey, Sony's being mismanaged. Yeah, where are they? How is this not being Sony has all these amazing studios, Hebot. So Sony has so many games. Xbox has the console. I mean, the company has given you high five.
They're too busy.
Redfall,
they're too busy doing movie, TV.
Hellblade. Yeah, exactly. Hellblade, Starfield, all them. I'm only naming the games that they own just to be a jackass. All them first party games y'all pretend don't exist. All that this year. All they give you another Spider-Man where you're going to swing through New York City. Where you get to play as either Miles Morales or Spider. Again, Shattered Dimensions did that shit. Edge of Time did that shit. That don't mean
they're
nothing.
Definitely being mismanaged because they're spending too much time doing TV. That's why Neil Druckmann is too busy doing TV. That's the problem.
How the fuck does a whole season of The Last of Us come out before their own multiplayer?
I don't know. You tell me. He's too busy doing TV. That's why. Too busy doing. That's why they say no more Uncharted. They're gonna do Uncharted movies now. TV. Like they already did that. Oh fuck! They already did the Uncharted movie. I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeremy, listen. Give me this one day of just being a toxic asshole. Just this one, because the rest, your rest. I love spitting facts, kicking it relaxed, and having.
Well, you're not really being toxic. You're just being factual because you ain't say this. They said it.
Yeah.
You're just pointing out the fact that nobody's talking about it. Notice how everybody's quiet today on Twitter, on the social media. Just the other day, they were talking all this shit. Oh my God, Redfall need to be 60 frames. It's not 30. It's only 30. Xbox don't know how to manage their studio. That's why it's coming out 30 frames.
I saw Matty Plays, the guy who Xbox, and by the way, Microsoft, please stop doing this. He was one of the guys who played Redfall early. And ever since that one video, which he was pretty positive about, every other Redfall video was just him bitching, right? And today, right? And it's like, okay, talk about Sony literally saying sales on hardware are fine, but the lucrative part of gaming business remains weak, the software. This shows PlayStation users are not buying new games. How about you guys make videos? Hey Sony, why do you only have one AAA exclusive this year? I mean, I already played Spider-Man. I already swung through New York. I already did Miles Morales. I already fought Venom. I already fought Carnage. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Carnage was the main bad guy at the end.
Yeah. Listen, this is why Jim Ryan was crying so much until he got the motherfucking goddamn CMA to go on their side and block this fucking deal. This is why he was crying right here. This is why. Because their sales are down for their games. They know damn well they didn't have no first party. Yes, a first party developer is making Spider-Man, but they don't own the IP. It's not theirs. That means they have to share that. They have to share the profits. The profits between Marvel, Disney, and fucking Sony. It's not just them. Okay, so again, it's great how all that negative Xbox news. Everybody was trying to be not negative. It's because the CMA wasn't an L because Microsoft came to Activision, and you see now everybody's in Microsoft's defense. Even Nvidia came out and tweeted out, this is wrong. This should not be it. And the EU is more than likely gonna approve it.
Yep.
Everybody say it makes no sense that they blocked it based off cloud gaming because there's nobody else in the cloud gaming division that's competing except Microsoft.
And it's a tiny market as is.
It's a tiny ass market, exactly. The mobile market is way bigger. If you want to make that argument, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but here's the thing: you could do remote play on both Xbox and PlayStation.
Exactly.
So that wouldn't be much of an argument. You could both consoles owners have their own apps. Hell, on the PlayStation Store, you could buy games off the app. On the Xbox app, you can't buy games off.
You can't, right.
Only install games. Now, for those who wonder why is that the case, it's because Microsoft don't want to split profits with Apple. And
probably so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but man,
you can only buy the games through their online site. If you notice,
yes,
you got to go to the Microsoft website, and that's how you can buy the games for your console,
or through your console,
right? Or through your console, right? That's funny.
Vodka here said unlimited production. Start the number of days Sony hasn't had a new IP countdown.
Oh, for real. Let's see how long it takes. For real.
They keep telling. Listen, it's funny, Vodka and Hebot. They keep saying, "Yeah, we got all these games as a service games in development." Right? Where are they? Because I know Xbox making Indiana Jones. I know Xbox making Fable. I know Xbox making Perfect Dark. I know Xbox making Contraband. I know Xbox making Avowed. I know Xbox making dozens of games because they show, as much as you guys hated Xbox giving us a roadmap that y'all asked for, we at least. One positive of that is that we know that there are dozens of games that we could Google, we could look up, we could show you screenshots, trailers, or early gameplay of that said this game exists and it's coming one day, right? Sony said we got Spider-Man, and that's fucking it. Wolverine ain't even coming out in the next year. Wolverine ain't even coming out in the next year. Another game, by the way, they would have shared profits with Marvel.
Oh, they swear Wolverine coming out next year. They swear.
No, it's not. First of all, they said that earlier this year that shit ain't coming out till at least 20.
You know why it's not? Because it's being made by Insomniac, and if they just finishing Spider-Man for this year, they're not going to have Wolverine done by next year. Because it's the same developer.
Yeah, exactly. Because
you see what I'm saying? That's how you know. That shit won't be out till 2026, 27, 25 or some shit.
At minimum 20. And listen, if they put it out in 2025, that's going to be a broken mess. It's going to run at 30 frames.
Or it's going to be a rush project, right?
Or it's going to be a short fucking game like Miles Morales.
Right, or a short game, right.
And yes, chat, you're right. The PlayStation 5 is the remaster station. Every fucking PlayStation 4 game he bought, they resold on the PlayStation 5 for some reason.
Well, we've been through that. Yeah, they did that with PS3.
Ghost of Tsushima.
When the PS4 came out, what did they do? A bunch of remasters from the PS3 game.
Yep.
That's what they did with PS2. When the PS2 was over, the PS3 had a bunch of remasters from PS2. That's how it's always been with them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I'll say this. With the PS3, at least they had the gall to actually put collections and put more games in one. With the PlayStation 5, they just
they gave you like the whole Ratchet and Clank collection or the whole Jackson Dexter. Yeah, I know what you mean.
With the PlayStation 5, they don't even do that. Ghost of Tsushima came out in 2020, and they resold the PlayStation 5 version at full price.
Ghost of Tsushima came out as a remaster in the same generation.
Isn't that absurd?
That shit is crazy.
It's just I just love how this stuff is official now. Sony has no games, guys. I'm gonna start saying it until they show me something. Yeah,
Oh
they
hell
have
yeah,
no
that's
games.
gotta be. That should be the narrative with every Xbox channel. Well, the real ones anyway. That's what we need to do. Sony got no games. Sony only and keep pushing that shit so they can see how not only how exhausting it is, but how annoying it is to keep hearing the same dumb shit over and over again. But in
Yeah,
their case, it's true because they don't even have Game Pass with third-party games that support or is being supported, or with games that you're getting, what you call it, when you're getting third-party deals or exclusives from third party. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because all the third-party games they're getting exclusives from, it's shit that they're paying for. You get like they're overpaying for just to keep it off of Xbox. You understand?
Oh, yeah, and that was confirmed either last week as well that games are
Yes,
being
sir.
paid on
And the
Xbox.
documents as well during this court battle.
The Sony, you know what? I love this. I love this. And I jokingly said it's just a toxic podcast, guys. It's not. We're just having fun. So don't be an asshole to anybody. But no. But all jokes aside, Hebot, I love this because I'm not, like you said, I'm not making shut up. Sony literally is literally reassuring everybody Spider-Man's 2 coming, but we got nothing else. They're literally saying, hey, the sales are good, but the software
Didn't
isn't.
they say that in 2015? We have a sparse year,
Yeah, oh yeah,
and
like
I don't
Zeke
know how the
said.
PS4 is selling. They said it, and what happened? Everybody was like, "Oh, it's okay. That's a great
That's
move.
that's
It's
genius.
actually smart." Remember those
That's
stupid
genius.
articles?
Well, hey, by their logic, Microsoft delaying all them games last year was genius because 2023 has been fantastic for Xbox. Guys, look at this. The next week on Xbox, new games from May 1st to 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 fucking games coming in the next 5 days from May 1st through 5th on Xbox. And you're going and you want again. I'm going to beat this dead horse until they until I start seeing more positivity. Hebot, don't tell me Xbox don't have games. Don't tell me gaming sucks. Don't tell me Redfall's trash when you haven't played it. All right, don't tell me none of this stuff when at the same time not a single one of them has made a video about how Spider-Man is Sony's only for the fiscal year. So if Spider-Man comes out in February 2024 because for some reason they love releasing games in February, right? If Sony puts out Spider-Man in February 2024, I'm giving them hell. I'm going to pull the same dumbass arguments they
Oh yeah,
did.
yeah. Could you imagine if they do get like have to delay it for whatever reason? Oh my God, that would be Comedy Central.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
Yeah, and watch. I guarantee you, Destin Legary is not going to make a video like he did last
Exactly.
year.
Or
Hey,
saying,
Sony,
well,
where are the release
Sony
dates?
Just go ahead in the back.
and get it.
Yeah, get that
Okay,
goddamn one.
thank you. Sure. Yeah. Thank you, puppy. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, no problem.
I'm trying to change a massage machine that I got that broke on me and trying to change it. But I'm within the training, the changing days within the warranty. So I'm trying to get another one.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Anyway, so what I was trying to tell you, I want to see Dustin Gary do videos say, man, Sony needs to make better racing game, or they need to make a actual first person shooter that has compelling story like Halo. Like he was saying the other day in his stupid ass show, oh, they need a God of War or they need an Uncharted. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like he needs to do a video saying that.
Someone had the audacity to tell me the other day
Sony needs to make more first party games and start relying on buying exclusive deals with third party. That's what he needs to say. It's dumb, man.
But he ain't gonna do it. Matty Plays ain't gonna do it. Colin Moriarty really ain't gonna do it. He's still talking bullshit.
Organically, we make games organically.
Yeah.
Fucking clown.
Yeah, and it's funny because yes, they're not a single one of them is going to say what I'm saying right now.
I'm here listening. I'm just muting when it's loud.
Until Sony shows me otherwise, they have no games. I'm sorry, Spider-Man 2 is not enough.
That's facts.
Halo wasn't
That's
enough.
Facts.
Gears wasn't enough. Forza wasn't enough. So another
Gunk wasn't enough. Crossfire X wasn't enough.
There are 40 years of Spider-Man games. There aren't 40 years of Gunk games. There aren't 40 years of Halo games. There aren't 40 years of Gears. There are 40 fucking years of Spider-Man games.
This is going to be number 37 in the Spider-Man series.
Yeah, exactly. Don't sit here and tell me that's bigger than every Xbox exclusive. It's not bigger than fucking Starfield. I guarantee Redfall's going to have more players than Spider-Man. I mean, for
Shit,
the love
look
of
at high.
God,
Look at High on Life.
if
It had
High on
almost
Life,
8 million players, or over almost 9.
if High on Life could do 7.5 million players,
Look at
then you
that.
know what? Then Redfall's going to dominate. Redfall's going to be like State of Decay that did 12 million players years ago.
High on Life.
Fucking years ago.
Right. Absolutely. Well,
Yes.
I told you that the other day. Remember when we were talking? I said, watch, the biggest difference is Spider-Man's going to come out this year, and you're going to stop talking about it by December.
Yeah.
Redfall, next year, they'll still be talking about it by next year E3.
Well,
And talking about
we
how I
know
got all these numbers.
not only that, the way that Xbox games work. First of all, we know that there's going to be more content for Redfall, because if you got the Bite Back edition, it says that there's going to be 2 new characters that they're going to release eventually. So that's one. And often what comes with new characters in the games means like new missions and stuff like that. So we know for a fact that game's getting new content. Forza Motorsport does need a release date, and we're going to get it because there's an article this week.
Yeah, they already said they're in the final stages. They already released
production. Yeah.
Yeah, they said that it was 2 days ago, was it?
Yeah, I think it was either a week ago, 2 days ago. I don't know. Time.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, but they were like, oh, they're in the final stages. So you know it's coming.
Yeah, and
It's definitely coming.
Oh yeah. Apex Predator. Sony is like Apple people. Only buy the console and don't give a shit about anything else. The company based Sony surviving on brand recognition, and that ain't gonna help for long. Nope. See, Sony games clearly don't sell like Nintendo games. I shit on Nintendo all the time. I give Nintendo shit a lot, and I have a lot of issues with Nintendo, but you cannot deny.
But at least the fan base actually buy their games. That's the difference.
Yeah, you cannot deny that on May 12th, when Zelda comes out, that game is going to sell massively huge for Nintendo. You just can't deny it, right? The same is clearly not happening with Sony, because the console with no games, their software sales remain weak. Analysts are saying it. I'm not. I'm just a messenger, Hebot. That's all I am. I'm just a lowly messenger.
Me and you both, brother.
Who reads and gives you guys the information. I don't make shit up. I don't lie to you. I don't try to bullshit you. I just, hey, they said the hardware sales is good. I have not once said since I started this show about that PlayStation sales are bad. I don't need to, because that's not the part that makes money. It's the software, and they're not buying games.
We didn't say that either, but that was said by Phil and many people in the industry long ago, my brother. They said that it's the software that makes them the money.
Yep. Hell,
they've always said that. It says software makes the money. That's why console sales, they're nice, but they're not important as people think.
Yep. And listen, part 1 of the Xbox documentary, Seamus Blackley said that. For those who want the easiest, fastest way to hear what we're talking about. Yeah, Spider-Man 4 was a good game, but it wasn't the greatest superhero game ever. None of that shit that they tell you.
Yes, sir. Right.
And I'll die on that hill because I played the game. Now, if I didn't play the game and talking out my ass, that's one thing. But I played the game, and I said this
isn't the best Spider-Man game either. Like people try to make it like.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite Spider-Man game is Shattered Dimensions. Yours is The Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, the series itself, 1 and 2, yeah. And I told you that, and I said why. I said because it was the one game that was completely balanced. It had everything just right. Gameplay style, story, features, the extra challenges, the side missions. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Gameplay variety, boss battles.
Yep, they're fun games. And you're right, Bobby. Scalpers can't sell them. Yeah, because they're easy to get now. And so they're just sitting in their fucking locker rooms right now collecting dust because
you seen what they did, right? You saw what they did?
No.
Something about when you buy PS5, you can't return them now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're trying to do something to avoid scalpers, from buying them. I forgot who did a video on it. It was somebody who, our boy 100's favorite boy, Spawn Waves.
No.
Or Snore Waves. Spawn Wave?
Yeah.
And, West 100's boy. He loved that boy. He did a video on it. He was the one who did the video on it, I believe. Yeah. That's what Hundred's boy. You know how Paul Tassi's my favorite dick puller.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
that's 100's favorite boy.
And as Zeke would say, my favorite person, Colin Moriarty. So
Okay, yeah. For real. That's
Motorsport
too
has
funny.
a video about doing accessibility for the blind. Yeah, that was pretty cool tech.
Oh yes, it was. That was nice. Yeah, that was nice.
That's innovative up there with the controller, that accessibility controller they released years ago for people with disability.
Yes, it is. Plus, realize what they were saying too is something that's never been done ever before.
Yeah, so props to the engineers and developers and everybody in between.
Yes, sir. The sound engineers of Forza Tech. Yep.
Dank Fountain, Webs of Shadows, and Shadow Dimensions. All those pony remixes trash. Yeah, man. I remember Webs of Shadows. That was pretty good too. Let's see. I bought every Spider-Man game day one since Carnage on the SNES.
Yes, sir.
My favorite is Shadow Dimension and Web of Shadow. There you go, Shinzo. I'm with you there. Again, Spider-Man games is nothing new. And I know I say another Spider-Man game, but listen, if there's one type of game that you'll find me playing, it's superhero games. For the love of God, people, I don't like turn-based games, but I ended up beating Marvel's Midnight Sun, a game I would have never played if the Marvels didn't have a fucking superhero logo on it.
Right.
I love superhero games. Love them.
Well, it was like Gears Tactics. It was like Gears Tactics. A lot of people don't like RTS, but Gears Tactics and even Halo Wars, because of them being connected to those franchises, it kind of made it a little easier. He's dealing with me. It kind of made it a little easier to play, even though it may not be a genre that you actually necessarily like. You know what I mean?
Yep. Exactly. Jeremy Brown, Turn 10 and Playground Games are just built different. Yeah, well, man, Obsidian's built different. Double Fine's built different. We're gonna see next week, Jeremy. Arcane Studios are built different too. So for if you're under Xbox ecosystem, listen, Xbox knows talent. Don't let people who tell you Xbox don't nurture and this and that. Don't listen to them. They got some unbelievably talented studios. The only thing is that, see, here's the thing. I keep telling people this game, it takes at minimum. I thought it was 3 to 5. Now it seems like it takes like 5 to 7 years by how long it's taken some of these games to release to make a quality game now, right? And so Xbox's biggest enemy is not the studios. It's not spending money the wrong way. It's time. It's time because it takes so long to build, especially new IPs. These new IPs got to be built from the ground up. Some of them with new engine. Some of them like Fable is using the Forza tech in new ways, right? So that stuff takes such a long time that's Xbox's big enemy. It's time. It's that there's no magical button that we could press and we could just play Fable right now that was ready in 2023 or 2024, 2025, whenever it's ready. There's no magical button to just play Everwild right now, even though that game looks fantastic with a gorgeous art style. So
they're still working on that though. Unlimited Everwild, they said they were
working. Every single game that hasn't been released that they've shown since 2020, they're working on. Every single one. Some of them have been,
and even Contraband. But the thing is, I don't think Contraband is being done by a first-party studio.
It's being done by Avalanche Studios, but it's published by Microsoft Studios.
That card.
So that tells me. So you know what that tells me with Contraband? Microsoft putting money into it some way, whether it's funding development or whatever.
Oh yeah. They probably helping fund it or something. Yeah,
because you don't put Microsoft Studios Presents in front of a game like that if you don't have some type of financial ties to it or contractual ties. Yeah, Jeremy, they do have some of the best talent in the industry, and I'm not going to sit here and again, listen. Fortunately, in 2 years after more games come out, we're people going to be able to say more confidently how great Xbox lineup is. But right now, since we're still getting, Redfall's coming, Starfield and all that, people are going to look back at 2023 and look at it as a fantastic year for Xbox. That's why I'm not super into moment, because I see how stuff like this plays out. In the future, when people get past their initial emotions, they're going to look back. I guarantee in 10 years, people are going to be nostalgic about Xbox in 2023. People
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, guy, you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. You got a good point. Dude,
like.
watch what's gonna happen. Watch what's gonna happen. Thank you, Bubba. Have a good night.
Yeah,
What's gonna happen? Watch when Microsoft, right? Mark my words, but you already know this anyway. But I'm not. I don't need to tell you, but I'm speaking to you generally, right? Mark my words. Watch when Xbox keep having the flood, or kind of like the flood of games continuously coming out regularly, right? Like the Avowals, the Fables, constantly coming out, on a regular, you know, um, with no hesitation. I mean, no hiccups, no hesitations. They just come out fluidly every 3 months, 4 months, whatever the case may be, yearly basis, and there's no more how you call stopgap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee you, when that starts happening, everybody's gonna become a fucking Xbox fan all of a sudden.
Yep.
Everybody's gonna be like, oh, I love Xbox. I've always loved Xbox.
Yeah.
I just knew it was a matter of time. I always knew they were gonna do better. I knew it, it was just a matter of time. It was a little frustrating having to wait.
That. You know who's going to be the first to say stuff like that? Ryan McCaffrey. Ryan McCaffrey, because he's going to use the fact that he's on an Xbox podcast and shit. I'm telling you right now.
He's gonna say shit. He's gonna say shit like they're gonna say shit like, see, all of us making sure that we kept saying, making sure that our voices was heard and making complaints and criticism help Xbox get better. What? They're gonna pull all that bullshit. And you're 100% right too. Ryan McCaffrey probably one of the first ones. Yeah, I do. Microsoft can do it. I always trusted in them. It was just frustrating when they weren't doing it because it was hard to be an Xbox fan because things took long. Motherfucker, he just bought these studios almost 3 years ago, or only maybe 4, maybe going on 4 now. And during that time, they had to meet their contractual obligations first by doing games like fucking Wasteland 3, the Psychonauts 2, finishing the Death Loops, finishing the fucking Ghostwire Tokyo shit, finishing that other one, what's it called? The Outer Limits, right? Or the Outer, right?
The Outer World. No,
that one, the Outer World, because remember, all those were multi-plats because they had contractual obligations, right? They had to finish all those games first and then start working on the Xbox games once they made the announcement. You saw that. What was it? The one that you like a lot, the developers that you like a lot, the ones that are doing
Obsidian.
Okay, Obsidian. You saw Obsidian as soon as they finished Wasteland 3. They showed a pre-demo of what our Valve is going to look like.
Yeah,
we're making a Valve, and they made the announcement. They already said the game is really doing well and long into production and coming along well, right?
Yep.
So a Valve probably going to come out next year, no doubt, right?
Yeah, that's probably going to be their major game of next year.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And shit, even though they just finished Wasteland 3, and these guys like, oh no, but they haven't done nothing for Xbox yet. Like, motherfucker, because they had to do the other games first.
Yep.
They had to do the other games first. And not only that, it fell during pandemic. So when they started making the games for Xbox, it fell during pandemic. The only team that's been doing and taking long to make a game was Ninja Theory with Hellblade. It'll technically be 5 years, right?
Yeah.
But that's because Ninja Theory said from the very beginning, we're going to move the game from Unreal Engine 4 to 5. We're just waiting for the dev kits. They said that right from the very beginning, like in the middle, when they did like one of those featurettes in the middle, like when they already had been doing it for like 2 years, the game, right after they showed that first demo, remember the first trailer, remember?
Yeah.
They were talking about it, said we're just waiting to put the game on Unreal Engine 5 in interviews and in a featurette. They said that's what they were waiting for. That's why the game's not out yet, because their whole vision was to put it in Unreal Engine 5. That's why we saw that tech demo like 2 months ago where that shit looks leaps and bounds better than the first one with the character models, remember?
Yeah.
With Senua? I was like, that's why. So don't be surprised. Hellblade will be like an early release for next year, like February, May, or March, or maybe even January, late January. We don't know, because I'm pretty sure we'll find out by E3 when they do the E3 showcase.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain we're going to see a release date, or at least a release window from when Hellblade 2 is going to come out. I'm almost certain because that's the only game and the only team that I know has been working on a game for more than 5 years or almost 5 years.
Right.
It's the only one. That's the only one. And that was during, remember, that was also during a transition because they just had the success with Hellblade, not only on PS4, on PS5, Xbox One, and then they brought it out physical. And then remember, they told them, oh, they just bought us a studio and they were building it. Remember that they showed pictures of Microsoft building a studio for them? Remember that?
Yeah.
Like a whole building. You remember that? I don't know if you remember, because it was a while ago. You remember that though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So remember that during that time, they weren't really developing the game. They were doing a transition. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because how are you going to work if you don't have a building to work in?
Same with Undead Labs. Undead Labs had the similar growth at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And they showed that they were building an office for them too, And then you just saw, they just said that because of Tequila Works, success, I guess with Hi-Fi Rush, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
they're fucking
They're expanding as well.
Yeah, they're already expanding and giving them more money and more manpower, and so they can do more stuff and have more manpower to make games faster and quicker, right?
Yep.
So all that shows that these guys are in a good spot and position in their life with games and with development with a good company that's backing them up.
And that also exposes the lie that Xbox, for some reason, the lie out there is that Xbox buy the studios but don't invest in them. Guys, that's not.
Yeah, I remember that. That's been said for a long time.
For some reason, people think that Xbox is like a deadbeat father who just picks up his child and then sit in the corner.
Yeah,
right, and don't play with the child. That's what they think Xbox does with the studios.
Or when they say something, you're right. Or when they say stupid shit like. No, real quick, because it falls into it correlates and falls into what you just said. With Halo, like they're trying to say, that they don't care about Halo, don't take care. Dude, how you have a company, right, or a developer or a team with a game, right, like Halo Infinite, that not only came out, have massive success, they've been updating it periodically, and they're completely restructuring their staff because people have left and new people are coming in, and yet the game is still going strong. If you don't invest in a game or a developer, they wouldn't be able to do that. The game would have been shut down long ago.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Unlimited. Exactly. They want to close it and shut it down. Oh no, we're turning it off. We're gonna go on to the next Halo. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, they haven't done that.
Yeah, that one, and they use that to their blue in the face. Where they they said I wouldn't pay money for Activision. I'll invest that money back. They already invested money back into these studios.
Yes, that's why others make me laughing all the time. That's why he laughs. It's like Comedy Central to him because, like he said, it's been on the charts for like 16 weeks, right, or something like that. He said consecutively since it launched. If you don't have investment on developing studios, then that game would have been shut down long ago.
Yep.
That's how you know that's just stupid when they say that.
Yep. And Shiz Don't Leak said, I think Microsoft aren't going to announce games very early anymore. And unfortunately, the pandemic really threw all the studios off schedule. Oh, yeah. The pandemic threw everything off schedule. Listen, what Microsoft did in 2020 when they showed all them games, Cisno, they addressed a major concern that they heard. Because, guys, let's not forget. I know it feels like a lifetime ago, but the Xbox One generation only ended 3 years ago. And all they said during the Xbox One generation, guys, was Xbox needs to show a roadmap. Even they literally said, I'm quoting verbatim, even if the game isn't coming out for years, I need to see it. I need a roadmap, Microsoft. Yeah. That's what they told them. And Microsoft, like they've been doing for years, gave them what they want, and all they did was bitch. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with Microsoft doing either way. I like their attempt at of every game shown at last year's showcase. In theory, was supposed to release within 12 months. Obviously, didn't happen for every single game, and people are assholes about that as well.
They can remember when they showed the roadmap with the other games like fucking Scalebound and Fable Legends, and then since it didn't pan out and shit happened, they started criticizing. Oh, that's why they shouldn't show games early. You were remember?
Yep. Yep.
Like if they're damned if they don't, they're damned if they do.
Yeah, exactly. So Microsoft, I'm in a camp. Show your games whenever the fuck you want. If you want to do an early show,
Exactly.
show you could do like the Outer Worlds 2 commercial, make a parody about how we don't have shit. We're just announcing it. You can even do that for all I care. But because if they don't listen, I guarantee. I'm gonna mute you real quick, Keybot. I guarantee that if I guarantee that if right now, guys, if we didn't know that Avowed was in development, if Fable was in development, if we didn't know that the Outer Worlds 2, all of them weren't in development, the narrative right now would be that what does Xbox have after Starfield? I promise you that would be the narrative. So I don't have a problem with them showing games early.
I guess due to this announcement from Sony, I guess the developers have been affected by pandemic too, right?
About this announcement?
Since they just made this announcement, I guess that means pandemic hurt their developers too, right?
No. Because they said that's not an excuse for Xbox. So if it ain't an excuse for Xbox,
it has to be, brother. It has to be.
No, I'm giving. Sony. Listen, I'm giving Sony and their fans the exact same energy they gave us. If the pandemic was an excuse, if any, if delays weren't an excuse, if third-party exclusives were an excuse, they listen. Sony has no games because the only first-party game they have is Spider-Man 2, and as they said, they have no other releases in the next fiscal year, which translate into early 2024. So as far as I'm concerned, Hebot, they have no fucking games. Don't give me any excuse.
No problem. Wink, wink. We'll leave it at that. No problem.
Because they did listen. If they, I'm a fair man, Hebot. If PlayStation fans are like, okay, yeah, you're right. The delay sucked due to the pandemic. I'd be the same here. And you know what? Maybe the pandemic slowed down some of Sony's first party games. Because I'm a fair man. But the fact that they threw in our face last year, High on Life, that doesn't count. Why? A game that did excellent. Why doesn't that count? It's not first party. Then I'm not giving them an inch because they wouldn't give us an inch. So I ain't giving them an inch so they could take a fucking mile and create a new narrative and move the goalpost for Sony. Nah, not on my watch.
Right.
No.
Right. Listen, it's only fair that we treat the same logic that they do to us, even though we know as real people with brain cells that there has to be some truth, obviously, to the situation with pandemic, that this has to be part of the effect, right? Speaking seriously between me and you, right?
Right.
But you're absolutely right. Why should we not drill the same logic that they drilled when it works for one way, but yet you don't want it to work the other way? That's not how that works.
Exactly. And listen, chat. Listen, chat. I realize it sounds stupid as fuck, but that's kind of my point. It was stupid as fuck when we heard it, and so I'm just giving them back to them. If the pandemic was an excuse, if third-party exclusives don't count, if they don't want to hear about a roadmap, they want the games now. Then Sony, show me games. Not only should you show me games, give me release dates, give me gameplay. Because that was another one. They hated when trailers didn't have gameplay. When Xbox did it. People, Jeff Grubb literally said, guys, I kid you not. He said that well, since Sony did it, when Sony showed, I think it was Wolverine, and didn't have no gameplay. Well, I mean, it's Sony, and I trust Insomniac. The same people that sit here and tells me that want to question Todd Howard and Bethesda, who's been making games way longer than fucking Insomniac.
Yeah.
So no. So they don't get. I'll give Nintendo leeway before I give Sony dubs. These Sony fans any amount of leeway because they use them same dumbass narratives which aren't true on us. So yeah, Zinc, the same energy must apply.
Well, listen, if we go back talking on being serious, right, for just a second, right, because I know you're just trying to, you're being a little bit facetious and and sarcastic, right? But being serious, when the Series X, you remember, was shown, not the Series X, the Xbox One, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you remember, Xbox, right? Yes, the 2013 showcase, right? You remember when they showed Dead Rising 3, Killer Instincts, right? Titanfall, Rise, Crimson Dragon, Loco Cycle, Max, Curse of the Brotherhood. When they even Forza 5, when they showed those games, they only showed gameplay for in-game from the game itself.
Right.
They didn't show trailers with just CGI.
Right.
So I don't know where they got, and that's always how Microsoft done it, because when they showed Sunset Overdrive that year, they showed it in CGI form, but when they showed the game the following year, they showed the actual game. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know where that narrative started, because Microsoft was the only one that used to show trailers with actual in-game footage, like when they showed Gears Busters, or when they showed the Gears Ultimate Edition, they showed actual in-game gameplay.
Yeah, it started. I know for the Xbox Series X games, it started in 2020 when games like Fable was only shown as a teaser.
But that was just because they wanted to let people know that although Fable Legends was turned off because they had it out for like a long time in that program, people could play it in its early stages, right? Which the game was gorgeous. Let me tell you, the game was gorgeous and it played really well. It was just different, right?
Right.
That was just to stay face with the fan base so that they know, listen, we didn't forget about Fable. We're just restarting with Fable with Playground Games.
Right.
That was the reason for that. But you're right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. You good.
What's up, man?
Yeah. Let's see. Harry Swan here said all Sony does put out all their games in the last couple of years. So they're in between pre-production or just started full production. So don't be surprised if 2024. Yeah. You know what, Harry Swan? Excellent point. Because this reminds me of the first 3 years of the 8th generation. The PlayStation 4 didn't have shit from 2013 to 2016. Then when they got Uncharted 4, that's when all of a sudden people pretended to care about exclusives. Because before the first 3 years of last generation was all about resolution and indies. I don't suffer from memory. I remember. IGN used to do the same kind of Digital Foundry videos comparing resolution and stuff before the Xbox.
Which they never did, by the way. Which they never did. They only started doing that bullshit when that fucking resolution shit started.
Yeah, exactly. And they stopped it when the Xbox One X was announced or came out. The moment Xbox had a power advantage, IGN didn't give a fuck about those resolution battles. Right, and same with the exclusives. Nobody was saying, "Man, Xbox, Sony, where's your exclusives?" Except for like 100 and Hebot when Xbox was releasing the first 3 years of like Titanfall, Sunset Overdrive, Quantum Break, Gears 4, Forza Motorsport 6, Forza Horizon 2, Halo 5, Rare Replay, and all them Gears Ultimate Edition, and all them awesome exclusives we had, especially in that first half. They did not give a fuck about it.
I remember when they killed Titanfall, used to talk about, oh, it's only 720p. Yeah, but it's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful game and all that shit that's going on all at once. So that's why. It's a give and take. And while people were playing, they were like, oh, but it's 720p. So?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Who cares?
I could tell you certainly. I really did. If you think resolution ain't a deal breaker, I really didn't give a fuck about resolution.
Shit. When I fired up Rise Son of Rome, when I fired up Rise Son of Rome, and then I fired up what the fuck was it? Killer Instincts and all that shit. I was like, God damn, these games are amazing.
Yeah. Who's that calling me? Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, man. And Harry Swan said Xbox is the only publisher that's not putting out broken games. Harry Swan, I'm glad you mentioned that because it's kind of funny, Harry. Arcane Studios was honest about Redfall, the console version releasing with only quality mode, and they got punished for it. Star Wars Survivor, like the chat said, was running like shit on PC and PlayStation 5. And yet, if you look at somebody said the reviews was something like 87 out of 100. Guys, I don't read reviews, so if I'm wrong about the 87, feel free to correct me. But the point is, the reviews were super high. Didn't mention resolution. Didn't mention frame rate. And so it's kind of funny that Xbox game, Harry Swan, is being punished for being honest. And yet, again, if they just didn't say nothing. And this also shows that people can't really tell with this shit.
Right. Right. Because they reviewed Star Wars the way they were supposed to review every game. They reviewed it on the merit that it's a better game and it's a good game in comparison to the first one, which was also a good game. That's how you're supposed to review it.
but they'll
You
do
review
that
it off its own merits.
with other games like third party, but they won't do that when
Uh-oh.
it has
Hey,
to do
Hebot,
with games
I can't
that
hear
are
you, my friend.
Xbox games, right? When it's Xbox games, it's always about resolution. It's always about frame rate. It's always about screen sharing or something stupid.
Yeah, I would respect reviews if it was reviewed on their own merit. See, back in the day, gaming sites I used to like the way gaming sites did it back in the day because there would be like different metrics. For example, sound controls, gameplay, fun factor. By the way, fun factor. Notice that used to be a measurement in reviews and stuff like that. And so what they would do is that the graphics would be an 8, gameplay be a 7, fun factor 9, and and then have a combined score of every of each breakdown. I used to like when reviews were kind of like that, and I'd read them in the magazines, gaming magazines that way. I miss when games were reviewed like that. Now it's just people don't even read the review or watch it. They just go to the score and they'll tell you a game is trash because if a game gets an 80, they treat review scores like school grades. So anything under 80 is trash, basically, because anything under 80 in school was like a C, and an 80 and up was a B, 90s an A. So that's how they treat.
Dude, these people act like they have Alzheimer's or some shit, or forget, or they got forgetful syndrome because Last of Us 2 exposed Metacritic.
Mm-hmm.
You don't remember Last of Us 2 when it was getting destroyed by all the users? They were giving the actual users were giving it a bad score while the media gave it great scores. And they actually turned off. They turned off all the negative reviews. You weren't allowed to give it a negative review. They wouldn't let it go through. They turned it off.
Oh, they also deleted the negative ones. Don't forget that aspect.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, Metacritic said they're doing the same after Horizon.
Yeah. Because they were talking about that they're being disrespectful to people that are leftists or that are gay or whatever. Like, no, that's not how that works, bro. The gamers are the users, and they're the ones that know if a game is good or not by playing it. And yet, that's exactly what we're going to turn off any negative reviews. Like, what the fuck? So now they don't count? Get out of here.
I mean, review bombing is bullshit, but it's just funny how when they do it the Xbox games. And by the way, I've seen some of those review bombs bullshit, and it's always bullshit. Like Xbox is trash, 0 out of 10. So
yeah, they give it a 0.
Yeah. So that again, there's a reason why Unlimited Production don't care about reviews, don't read them, don't watch them, don't care about Metacritic, and don't entertain it, guys. It's because I could give you just every situation on why shit is just a waste of time at this point. But before we get going, Hebot, because also guys, go to Xbox All In channel. He will be doing a Wrecking Crew podcast, whatever he calls it, Xbox After Dark, the Xbox Night Shift, the Insomniac podcast, whatever he calls it.
Insomniac podcast.
Yeah, whatever he calls it now. It'll be later in the night because he's in Hawaii, so time zones. Check it out. Hebot will most likely be there. And there's usually a rotating shift of people. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. I do got some prior engagements when we finish up Hebot to take care of this Friday night. But the last thing I do want to talk about, because we're only days away from a game that I'm so excited for, Redfall. And so the other day on my channel, I did put up a poll, right? And I just pretty much asked who people going to play out on Redfall. And right now, Jacob Boyer is winning at 36%. Layla Ellison in second at 34%. Devender Crowley at 20%, and Remy De La Russell at 9%. Now, I'm not sure who I'm going to play yet. I'm leaning towards Jacob myself at the moment because I like that stealth style gameplay. But we'll see when it comes out. But the point is, Hebot, we got to show this game some love. Whenever you type in, well, at least whenever I type in Redfall on YouTube, I see trailers. For some reason, no gameplay videos.
Right.
You got to search for those and a bunch of negative shit. And I'm sorry, guys. This isn't. If you want negative, put all my shit talking to Sony aside. I'm not a negative person. I'm not a negative gamer. I don't hate gaming. All right. If Sony didn't pull the shit and their fans didn't pull the shit they do, I'd even be cool on Sony. I would love to sit here and just leave it at, hey, Spider-Man was a fun game. But the problem is when you say it that way, they like, you don't think it's the greatest game ever? No, come on, stop it. Right.
Yeah,
But
that's the first thing they come out of their mouth. Yeah. You're right.
They act like it's impossible to not. be
No,
in love
you
with
can't consider the greatest game ever because there's too many great games that come out.
Yeah, exactly. But with that said, Redfall May 2nd. Actually, it's technically in the US is going to be May 1st at around 8 p.m., 7 p.m., depending on your time zone. But yeah, May 2nd, Redfall, man. What are your thoughts? What are your final thoughts before the big release next week?
Are you asking me, right?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
No, yeah. I mean, the launch trailer looks fucking dope.
Oh, that was amazing.
It looks like the game's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, man, look, you cannot look. Even if I don't end up liking it as much, let's say, as you, let's say, for example, or others, I still celebrate it because it's a brand new IP. It's a brand new game. You know what I mean? It's not something that's rinse, wash, repeat. They're trying to do something new, something different, right? Even though it is a first-person shooter, but it has a lot of new elements and different things that they're trying to do that are fresh and are unique, right? Within the first-person space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's good enough to give them the accolades and give them give them kudos for, right? Because they're doing something new. It's a new IP. Just like the new game Benedict Fox that came out, right? Just like Everlock that's coming out 2 days afterwards.
Yep.
These are new, fresh IPs. How can you not be excited for new, fresh IPs if that's the whole fundamentals and the whole reasoning on what gaming has been built on, right?
Right.
Gaming has always been built on the fact of getting new games, new IPs. That's how we got all the games that we've gotten through the years, like the Marios and the Sonics, right? And the Gears of Wars and the Uncharted's. And that's how we got new games that became great and Assassin's Creeds that became great series because they have to start from somewhere. So how are you going to hate on something new? You can't do that. Any real gamer that hates on something new just sounds foolish or hypocritical or fake because again, you don't have to like every game that comes out.
No,
but if a game comes out and it's new, you have to give it its kudos because at least it's doing something new. Making a remaster like, let's say, Dead Space, even though I love Dead Space, a remaster like Resident Evil 4, which I love also. You can't give those games credit because they're the same games that you played already and that have been remastered 2 or 3 times in some cases. Okay? We know they're good games, but you can't say those are good games and then be like, oh, fuck this game. This game's going to be stupid and corny because it's 30 frames per second. Yeah. It just sounds absurd. It sounds so dumb. You cannot do that, right?
Yep.
Because if you remember when Returnals came out, everybody was praising, oh my God, this game's incredible, this game's great, even though the game was okay, right? It wasn't great, but at least it was trying something new. It was the first time that developer tried to do a AAA style game because all they'd done was small indie style games to that point. And I gave them credit for that. And is Returnal horrible? No, it's not horrible, but it's not a 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? And what happened? The game didn't even get supported. Yeah, and only sold like 500,000 copies, right?
Yep.
So again, when games don't do well, you can't say, oh, it's because the game's not great. No, because you don't support the game. You didn't try it, so you can't do that. You got to stop doing the blame game and say something stupid and cop out with an easy excuse saying, oh, the game's not good, because when they don't do well on PlayStation, they still get praise. Then the narrative becomes, oh, it's because you didn't support it. But when they come on Xbox, if they do low numbers, oh, it's because the game sucks. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's not how that works. And so again, Redfall looks really good. The launch trailer looks really good. Shit, that new Armored Core looks fucking amazing.
Oh yeah.
And I don't even like Armored Core, but that new one looks fucking dope.
Yeah, that was impressive. That
you know what I mean?
Isn't expensive though. That's like $230. I had to pass on that.
Well, the game looks dope, the new one.
Yeah.
And yes, it's from software doing it, but I like it because they're doing something different other than Dark Souls
Yep.
or other than a Souls game. That's what I want to see, different games. And yes, it's an existing series, but I never liked the other series. This one though looks good, so I'm excited to try that one too.
I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks. First of all, the number one reason I'm a hype for Redfall Hebot is that it
Mhm.
looks fucking fun. And for
Yeah, it
me,
looks fun.
listen, guys, I said it once and I'll say it again. That's the number one thing for me. If a game is fun, that usually sells me on more than anything, more than graphics. All right, more than resolution, more than frame rate, more than all that.
Right,
Is it fun?
right,
Oh, sign me the fuck up.
right,
And
right.
that's what this game just looked pure fun. It looks fun both in solo and co-op,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And two, Arcane Studios don't make bad games. And not only that, they make
Hmm.
one of my favorite series from Bethesda, the Dishonored series.
Right.
And you see that influence with something like that weapon the vendor uses that could teleport. It's like that's like the blink ability in Dishonored for all my Dishonored fans, right? You
Right.
know what I'm talking about there. And so you see the influence in their older games, but it done in a new way here, right? And then you could play with friends, up to 4 friends, right? FaZe hit me up, I believe. I think it was FaZe. By the way, FaZe just jumped in the chat. What's up? FaZe, I think, hit me up
Hey,
and said, "Hey
FaZe,
man, we
brother.
need to do co-op." I'm like, "Hell yeah, we need to do co-op." So hopefully I could play with him and play with you and anybody else who's available. But the point is, the game just looks fun. It's something new. So like we fought plenty of zombies. I love State of Decay too, but zombie games, there's a Dead Island just came out. That's another
There's a lot
zombie
of them. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
but here you fight vampires, and the way you got to kill vampires, it looks like you kill them in different ways. It's fun. It's different news. The characters all look unique and fun and interesting. They don't. I could tell by the trailer that they're not even the more quiet characters like Jacob. He's not a boring stick in the mud alloy character that's not going to shut the fuck up, right?
Now she's awesome because now she's gay. Remember?
Yeah, well, no, that means nothing to me, but I get your point. So it looks fun. It's an open world, guys. I love open world games. If you want to sell me on a game, say open world or RPG, and I'm probably giving you my money that day, right? So it's also got those elements in it. My excitement for this game, I love this feeling. I love this feeling, Hebot, you get before the release of a game that looks fun, and you just like, oh man, the day you counting down the days. It's almost childlike. It almost felt like as a kid when the next Sonic game was coming out or something back in the early 90s. The series that got me into video games. I remember the first time I saw Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and it had the cartridge that you put Sonic 3 on top, right? And I remember being blown away by that, right? And I say that to Titus in the Redfall. It's just that I love that feeling of, wow, this is something new. This is something different. This is something fun. I can't wait to sink my teeth into this game. And Redfall's giving me that feeling that
you like to feel, right?
Yeah,
when it comes to video games. Yeah.
The excitement I had for Gotham Knights last year, the excitement I had for Solstice last year, just these fun looking games that I just want to sit back and play the moment it releases.
Right.
And so I say that with the utmost praise here towards Redfall, Hebot, that I think Xbox has a new star franchise on their hands.
Right. It has the potential. It looks like it has the potential to become a franchise, number one, and to be long lasting. So that's always a positive, no matter what.
And three, I think it has the potential to have characters that people connect with, and that's important because you see what Senua does for people. You see what Master Chief does for people. You see what Marcus Phoenix does for people. People connect with these Xbox characters. I think you could get that out of Redfall as well. The newest Xbox consoles in production should have. You remember how game consoles used to put the Xbox One Series X console have like the Halo logo. This should have the Redfall characters on the back. For example. Stuff like that, new mascots.
Look how they just announced that they're making a DLC for Gotham Knights. That's awesome.
Yeah.
They just announced that 2 days ago?
Yep.
I was like, oh, that's great. So now you have a reason to go back and revisit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes.
And another thing too, this thing came out. What's his name? That other game I told you that I'm excited for. That I'm gonna get the physical because it comes out. I think in June. Bramble came
Yes,
out.
yes.
That looks good as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not like we don't have game.
Uh-oh. He about you cut out on me,
Games.
buddy.
Can you hear me, bro?
Cutting out on me.
I'm cutting off.
Yeah, you must have been going
Am
through
I?
a tunnel or something. You there, Hebot? Yeah, oh man, he about cutting off on this, guys. But yeah, I if he comes back, I you know, I'll let him finish up. Then we could talk.
Hey, did you see? Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you now, Verizon guy.
Okay, did you see that awesome shit that hey did you see that awesome thing that Xbox doing with Redfall with the controllers?
Yep, I did. I got my hands on some.
And you can go to Design Lab and tweak them up even more the way you like it.
Yep. Yeah, I saw it.
That and put your name on them. That's fucking awesome.
I collect controllers, so I got my hands on some of them Redfall controllers. So I can't wait till mine get here. Hebot, are you in a hallway or something, man? Because I'll hear you for a sentence or two, but then you just kind of disappear on me. Yes, so he about having some technical issues, but I do got to get going anyways. So I'm there. I just wanted to end it on a positive note and hype up Redfall since it's a few days away. I'm extremely excited to play it. You know, if you guys, I hope you guys are excited to play it as well. Yeah, if it's not your type of game, that's also all right. Listen, I don't expect people to like every game ever. That's just not possible. With respect, you're wrong. What are you referring to, Bobby? What are we wrong about? Oh, it looks like him and Wilkins are having a conversation in the chat. Okay, guys. Yeah. FaZe, Dunk Fountain, Wilkin, Bobby Dazzle, Vodka, and everybody else in chat. Thank you for joining us. You guys have a great weekend. Check out Xbox All In channel. Check out Sega Man's channel where he does the Xbox Outlaws sometime this weekend. And other than that, enjoy your weekend, and we are out.